We were able to kayak on the Rio Grande a total of 3 days while we were in Big Bend National Park. One day we went downstream from Rio Grande Village, another day we went upstream, and the day in the middle we kayaked through the Santa Elena Canyon. The water levels in the Rio Grande are very low, and we had to get out and portage around shallow areas several times on all 3 days.
We haven't come very far so far today, but we launched at about lunchtime, so we're gonna go sit on that sandbar thing and eat. We had to portage around this area anyway. It's pretty shallow. I'd probably make it eat. Oh, careful. Whoa, oh my goodness. And I got that on video.
I watch it.
At least I hope I got it on video. GoPro, are you still recording?
In spite of a few mishaps, we got very good at getting into and out of our kayaks so that we could portage around the shallow areas. In spite of the effort involved, we thoroughly enjoyed all 3 days, seeing the wildlife and experiencing the river. One unique aspect of this float was that one shore was in the United States, while the other shore was Mexico. These burros were on the Mexican side.
There's an old house or something over there on the Mexican side. We've decided we're going to do the float, so we're carrying the kayaks down to the beach so we can assemble them down there.
So we're packing our old kayaks down to the water. Wouldn't want to hike with them a long ways. It's not as comfortable as our other packs, that's for sure. But it works for short distances. So there's the Santa Elena Canyon. We don't know how far up we'll get before we'll be carrying the kayaks. And we'll only do that so far. We thought about even just leaving the kayaks and walking a little farther up. Possibly, we'll see what we run into.
We're all assembled and almost ready to go. Went pretty quick. We didn't have to look at instructions or anything. We're getting this down. The view of the canyon from the middle of the river. That other party, they're from Montreal, and they're going up in an inflatable.
The Santa Elena Canyon is a spectacular canyon. The walls of the canyon can be as high as 1,500 feet above the river level. The water flow through the canyon can be quite high, and there's one section that is even a Class 4 rapids if the water is sufficient. However, on the day we were in the canyon, it was flowing at only 3 or 4 cubic feet per second, or CFS. Normal flows are in the hundreds of CFS.
walls are 1,500 feet high, in some places anyway. We've negotiated a couple of shallows so far. Still floating though. Trying to find the channel. Scraping by next to the rocks here. Fish. You're a brave one, huh? You're not like the others. They got intimidated, but you're not going to let us interrupt your sunbath, although there's not much sun here. How high is that wall, you ask? That high. Linda's fighting her way upstream.
That was a bit tricky. So we have abandoned our boats and are just walking up through the canyon. So way down there you can see we left our boats. Hopefully they'll be there when we get back. So we're just going a little bit further on foot, crossing the water when we need to. If we get to a point where it's too deep, I guess that's a must turn around point, but just exploring.
Down over these obstacles. We're on the downstream portion now, so we can just kind of sit here and let ourselves drift. The trick will be to pick out the right passage before we get swept down onto it, the wrong passage. come out of the canyon. We're headed out on our third day of kayaking. This time we're going upriver from the boat ramp. We hope to get to the hot springs and maybe take a dip in the hot springs. We've had to battle our way upstream. Guess that's what happens when the water level is as low as it is. We saw a horse on the bank, not very healthy looking horse, and 4 head of cattle. Linda saw some riders crossing the river, but I didn't see them.
So I'm pulling my boat through the water, and I noticed that this rock looked different than the other rocks. It's more green. I looked a little closer. It's got a little head moving around. It's a turtle.
You got it, buddy?
He stuck his head way back out. We stopped for lunch. I don't know, we were trying to get to the springs, but we're fighting current and wind and finding it pretty challenging. So I'm doubting that we're gonna make it to the springs. In fact, it could be challenging going down.
Turn on. GoPro, turn on. GoPro, turn on.
Brian says, who needs a fork when you've got a Leatherman?
That's right. True story. Look at that.
Brian would go nowhere without his Leatherman if he can help it.
I almost left it for the PCT, and boy, am I glad I didn't. How many times did we need it? Tons.
Yeah, quite a few.
For a variety of things.
And now as a fork.
I don't know how anybody gets through life without having a Leatherman.
I think you should get paid to advertise for Leatherman.
Truly. That's Santa Elena. I'm just treading water. GoPro, stop recording. There's a horse getting a drink. Hopefully the horse doesn't take offense. Hey horse. This looks like a place where people cross regularly. You can see the trail down to the river on either side. We've seen several parties, well, 2 parties crossing it. We think they go back and forth pretty frequently, not worrying too much about the border. We've seen several of these little bit makeshift fences that come right down to the water line in the river, like it's a property line or something to keep the cattle from going in the wrong piece of property. I think we need to go right up here though. There's the cows up on the bank, but I need to pay attention to my paddling. Interesting the way these trees have eroded, or the bank is eroded out from underneath these trees, it looks like. I'm going to hit the bank here. I need to pay attention. It won't be long and those trees will be falling down the bank. Yep, now I'm grounding on the other side. Back to the boat launch. Float finished. We're back at the boat ramp, walking up to get the truck.
On this.
After float ice cream sandwiches.
We worked hard.